Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Liverpool Connection Podcast Pub Chat. We are at BD Riley's and another victory. Jono, I'm here with Jono, El Presidente. A nice afternoon kickoff for the people out there in England. 10:30 kickoff here. Another victory, another shout out. First game for Arne Slot at Anfield. You can't ask for anything more, right, Jono?
Great day, beautiful day in Austin, packed pub, and love a good clean sheet. It was nice to have two clean sheets in a row. Everton bottom of the league, and Liverpool riding high.
You know, it's funny because, last year we didn't get a lot of clean sheets, right? And we're falling behind every single game. It seemed like we gave up the first goal.
Right.
And now two games on the trot. I know it's early days,
Sure.
but to be able to get the 6 points, get two shutouts, I think I think they're putting down a marker, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think back to the first half, like what chances we gave away. I think we haven't been perfect. We've given some chances away, but there was one I'm thinking back to where we turned it over and there was a bit of a breakaway, but generally speaking, when we do turn over, we have more guys back in position than last year. We always seem to have at least one more than we would have had last year. But the good thing is it doesn't seem to affect our ability to attack. Even though we have an extra guy back, we're still creating a similar number of chances, it seems like.
You know, I mean, I think the game's a little different if Tony plays, right? He is a quality player,
sure.
And I'm not really sure why Brentford won't play him. If you're going to sell him, sell him.
Right.
But until you sell him, in my opinion, play him. You know, and if you're wanting to make as much money as you can, okay, but you're going to drop points, right? And they may be safe anyway. They'll probably be middle of the pack again, so maybe they're not concerned about dropping any points, especially at Anfield. No one really is coming to Anfield thinking they're going to get all 3 points, right? So let's talk about the lineup. Pretty much picked itself with Kwanzaa, a little knock. So really there was no other 50-50 calls on who the starting lineup. He played basically the same lineup as last week, just Konate for Kwanzaa.
Right, and I always thought in the first 3 games, and then you've got an international break, I always thought he's going to try and have a group of guys that he's building, because he's trying to, create new tactics, new things that the players have to learn. So he was always, I think, going to try and stay pretty consistent with the team so they could learn each other and so on. And I think the Giants of Brentford meant that he was definitely always going to play Konate in this game, even if he had started Kwanzaa, and even if Kwanzaa finishes the Ipswich game, I think he would have played Konate in this game. So, I mean, how many guys do they have that are like 6'6" or so? Their left wing early in the game is like a freaking 7-foot looking guy.
Yeah, he did look tall. I was commenting to him how tall is that guy? Right. I thought it was Zach Whitbread was playing again.
Right.
But so team pretty much played itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you look at the bench, and I know people are saying we haven't brought in anybody, but look at the bench that we had, right? When you can bring a Gapco off the bench, and Nunez and Elliott and Endo, and there's Gomez is on the bench. Right, and Bradley. I mean, I know people want signings, but there's a good 16 players there that it'd be hard to really break into that squad and get any measurable time.
There is right now when everybody's fit, but and maybe my hope is, and I said this to a few folks after the game, I'm hoping the way we are playing versus how we played under Klopp, a little bit less aggressive, a little bit less blood and thunder. Hopefully that means that we have still halfway through the season as many options. I do think we're a little thin, but there is time. I do think we'll sign one or two. I'm a little worried still, but I think we're all used to losing 3 or 4 guys by November or January, and then you do start to worry. So it's a concern, but maybe, our new style of play, means that we won't have the same number of injuries. But we're going to have Champions League and 2 games a week coming after the break, and I'd like to see a couple of guys coming in.
And I think I mentioned that before, is like the most important person probably that we brought in may be the training staff, maybe the people that are looking out, and you can already tell that they view things a little differently as far as fitness, the workload. Gomez not being in the squad last week, we find out that Slot and the team said, you kind of overworked yourself, we're not going to include you. So that's a little different approach, right? And I think we're going to have to get used to it may be minute on those team selections, but there's a plan of action there. And to start the season, 6 points, no goals given up. Man United next week is going to be a great test. We're on the road there to Manchester. But talking about this game, that first goal, man, what
it's beautiful.
What a great counterattack.
Yeah.
I mean, off their set piece, and we're attacking the other way. Jota, what a pass. What a run by Luis Diaz, and a finish with the left foot, Jono.
Yeah. I loved it, because they take Salah out on the edge of our penalty box, and usually I'm trying to think of how many of those types of goals we scored where Salah wasn't involved. Mm-hmm. Probably wasn't that many, but it's nice to see that we can still do that, even with Salah not in the picture. Brilliant weighted pass from Jota, just took 2 defenders completely out the picture, and then Diaz just does enough. It looked like, at first I was like, he's taking a couple more touches, but when you're that close, you just got to hit it hard, and he did. It was a beautiful goal.
And it's kind of a lesson to the younger players that are strikers that are making those forward runs. Look at the way Diaz made that run, how he curled it, he split those 2 guys, and then the pass was on, he went, and he shot with his left foot. Most of us are thinking he's going to cut back to his right because that's what he always does. Sometimes you just got to take the chance, right? Especially at that level, you're a professional. You should be able to hit it with your off foot. But what a finish. It really gets us going. And now Diaz has scored in consecutive games, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Diaz is really playing well. He was my man of the match because he was involved in the second goal. And so
my man of the match was probably going to be Gravenberch. I'm going to just put it out there. Played another great game at the 6th at that pivot. And it's weird the way him and McAllister kind of played is different, right? Because McAllister plays a little bit forward than him, so it's not a true double pivot in my opinion. Plays a little bit more forward. But Gravenberch, he turns, and with those long legs, he kind of creates a space. And you can just see, even from the last week to this week, the confidence he had. And it's the Premier League. There'll be tougher tests, but the more he has that experience in it, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the most crucial things was, like, how would Gravenberch adapt to this? And he's now come through 2 games without making any major mistakes and looking better and better. And if he can come through that United game, just playing just decently well, I think the sky is the limit for him, because then confidence grows and he's gradually learning the system. It's kind of funny because McAllister, whether it's a double pivot or he's kind of more of an 8, he's been quiet, I think. Right. But I think that's okay. It's not something to worry about too much. He's being asked to be a bit more like Wijnaldum used to be in terms of just keep moving the ball, and there's a lot of fluidity in that 3 because there was times when Szoboszlai was way deeper than McAllister. Yeah. The one thing I think I'm learning about Slot is, and I think the reason he kind of took offense to the whole 4-2-3-1 as our system is because I think he's asking them to be very fluid, right? There were times early in the first half where Robbo was basically in a back 3 with Virgil and Konate, but then there was times where he had 2 shots from almost inside the 6-yard box. So I think it's encouraging how much flexibility we're seeing already within that team. Sometimes it looks like the Klopp system, and sometimes it looks like a, more of an Arsenal City type system.
I mean, in the second half, it looked like Alexander Arnold was playing the Pirlo position. He was there. He's making passes out of that deep lying midfielder, and it's like, okay. And when you're the other team, how do you defend that? Like, you don't know where the ball is going to be recycled and things like that. But I think Zoboslai, I think he's one of those players that he needs to run. He's a box-to-box guy, right? So, and it's kind of interesting because we are trying to invite pressure, and then we go over the top, And then Salah gets his goal, another goal. He just continues to being the guy that is going to put up goals and assists on this team. And he looks like he has a little joy on his face.
Oh, yeah, he's really enjoying it. I think he would like to stay at Liverpool for a lot longer and break a ton more records. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Right now, he generally is best at the start of a season. I mean, the way he's playing right now, I'm like, get him for 2 more years, right? It's like
who's that?
Salah.
Oh yeah.
Because, I mean, who's matching his numbers still to this day, right? I mean, okay, Diaz so far, but
well, I'm gonna have to say Trent didn't look too happy being subbed off today, was he?
Yeah, maybe not, but I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with Slot. I don't think it'll bother him 1 second to, I don't think he's Dutch. He's direct. I think he'll just make the decision he wants to make, and
I think this is the argument that I've made previously to get a gaffer that's outside of the ecosystem of Liverpool. You don't have those accepted emotional attachments to players. Sure. You can make the decisions based on how you want to do it, right? Even if we would have gotten Xabi Alonso, I think he would have had a little bit more emotionally attached to Liverpool players itself, right? So, Slot, I mean, first time since '91 that they've won 2 games on the Premier League and the new gaffer. So he's doing the right things. Next week, obviously, is test against Manchester United. But until then, we're going to relish the 3 points. Man United dropping points yesterday, so that's a good weekend.
It was.
And Everton dropped. No, can you even say Everton dropped points? They dropped a load.
Absolutely. I mean, come on. Ipswich started their season as a newly promoted team against Man City and Liverpool, and they're above Everton. God, those guys look like a mess, man. But I'm looking forward to United. I think the pressure's a little bit off. I don't think the expectation is that we absolutely go there and batter them. I think that's a little getting carried away. But, a tie wouldn't be a terrible result at this point. And, let's go and beat them.
Hey, he said tie. I didn't say that. We say draw here.
Here in America.
In America. But, it'll be the battle of the bald-headed Dutch people.
It will.
Right?
I mean, the good thing to me is I've just watched the last part of that United game and saw Ten Hag's interview. They just look like the same as last year. Their midfield's non-existent. They have some good players, but they just don't seem to know what they're doing at all.
So I have a question because I saw this with Slot today. There was a time that he leaned back and he ran his fingers on his head.
Through his what?
So if you're bald, are you thinking that you still have hair, or how does that work? Well, asking for the people out there because you still have a good.
We should ask Zach, but I guess there's just checking on the.
No, are you thinking you still have hair and you think you're running your fingers through your hair?
No, I missed that. That crucial.
I caught that. I caught those things that you don't, Jono. But anyway, hey, so thanks for joining us. 3 points in the bag, 6 points out of 2 games. And we really have a pretty good run to this first part of the season where we can rack up some points. And I'm just looking forward to it. And with Slot as the gaffer, obviously we love Jurgen Klopp, but it's very interesting to see the different tactics between Slot and Klopp. And we're looking for the Man United game, and we're going to go there. And maybe Ten Hag can get the sack the day after.
I'm not sure if they would go that early because they're waiting. Gareth Southgate needs a couple more weeks of a holiday before they bring him in, right?
All right. You're right. So until next time, thank you for watching. Subscribe, put on the notifications, like our page. I'll bring you more content during the week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, David.